Already Sunday, December 7th here at the Big A as we finish off this opening week on the Inner Dirt track. Sights and sounds of an afternoon in South Ozone Park, Queens, the second floor clubhouse studios to be precise, as we are off and running on this 30-minute Aqueduct Insider. It's the Mig, Richard Migliore, Jason Blewitt alongside, and the first five are down. First five are down, many to go on the Inner, my friend.
Many to go on the Inner. We'll be on here for a while. I love that shot that we opened with the Empire State Building. Shows you what close proximity we are to Manhattan. And you say it often, New York City's racetrack, Aqueduct.
Absolutely. The sight lines impeccable, really unparalleled when you think about the Manhattan Terrace and having the Manhattan skyline in the back of the building and the sight lines for watching a race in front. And that's something I remember Harvey Pack saying on Thoroughbred Action going back eons ago, or it feels like eons ago. He would say Aqueduct is the best place to watch a horse race.
Well, it really is. It's very fan-friendly for that. You can actually get up close to the action. Obviously, when they're on the Inner track, you're not as close, but the views from up in the stands are perfect. And when you get a crystal clear day like this, even though it was chilly, it was bright sunshine. It was really beautiful here.
Indeed it was. We ran 9, obviously. First race was 12:20. A stakeless Sunday afternoon, but a good group of high-priced allowance optional claimer runners coming up in our featured 8th race, so sit tight for that. But a day on a colony, or in a colony, where it's slanted down towards the younger guys. A couple of 5-pound apprentices did pretty well. Multiple win days for both Israel Rodriguez and Angel Cruz.
And Israel Rodriguez opened up the card, just sweeping the first 3 races. And the thing I like about both of these young riders is the way they finish. Very polished. You see Israel Rodriguez coming down to the wire here. He's got a good, strong hand ride, switches sticks very adeptly, and it's not as easy to go from left hand to right hand. He did that there very, very well. Here he is in his second win. Again, he's going left-handed here, and look how low and in sync he is with his mount.
And pulls off the upset. This is a Philly Lemon song for Gary Siaka, who was 17-1, and he rode a smart race, tactically was up close, pounced on the co-second choice, the Philly to his red cap, or to his inside in the red cap, and a game effort out of Lemon Song and a polished effort, and he was looking to come back in race number 3 aboard Andromeda's Risk, and an Israel Rodriguez pick 3 paying about $600.
Yeah, and here he is again, come down there, well-timed ride, stick in his left hand, not an overuse of the whip. He's a strong kid. He finishes well. Credit to him and his agent, Jose Morales Jr. They got off to a good start on this Inner track, picking up a lot of momentum. So it was a lot of fun watching that. And then he was going for 4.
Right.
And he kind of had a little bit of a problem here at the gate as the 10-horse, a little reluctant to go in, and he popped up. But when you're young, you land on your feet like that. And we would be just a bit remiss not to mention Angel Cruz's 2 victories. Another apprentice doing really well. Billy Castle, the agent for Cornelio Velasquez, has him. So while Cornelio's on the sidelines, he'll get some momentum going with Angel Cruz.
And with Israel Rodriguez and Angel Cruz, is it a positive, both of these young riders who have yet to hit 20, that they have their weight allowance through the end of the Inner track, through springtime, in fact?
Well, absolutely. It will maximize their apprenticeship to have it through all the cold weather months, while most of the big riders are in Florida. They're going to get a lot of play, and it's good to have 2 hot bug boys because they play off each other. When the apprentice allowance gets hot, if they can't have one, they're looking for the other. So they'll actually help each other, even though they're competitors.
Good stuff with that. And even looking at some of the more established journeymen in this colony throughout the winter, a guy like Manny Franco, who we'll be talking about a bit later in the show, he's only 19, and the Ortiz boys. Do you ever remember at a time on this circuit, even during the winter months, the colony in the room had such a young baby face to it?
We did have at one time a very young colony. When I first started, there was a lot of apprentices, but at that time, a lot of the riders would stay back. Angel Cordero, George Velasquez, Eddie Maple all stayed during that winter, but you had myself, Jack Cannell, Danny Foley, Mike McMullen, Ricky Frazier. We were all under 20,
wow,
but we were still banging heads with the big boys.
All right, fair enough, but we're happy about the colony. Good stuff with that. Let's get him in the gate. Featured 8th race on this Sunday afternoon. High price, $75,000 allowance optional claimer going long. John Abrial with the call, and he's got the field as they cross the wire for the first time.
From mid-pack out for the lead. Street Gent is down at the rail. Perfect Stormy now moves up. They're racing for the clubhouse turn. There goes Street Gent from the inside post to take the lead. Perfect Stormy in second, and Luna Rover is now back running in third. On the outside is Casi Guapo. Towards the rail is a Lawmaker. Then Sasakaya racing in 6th. The Von Frazen trails the field in 7th. And they're on the backstretch, and the quarter win in 23 and 1/5 seconds. Street Gent in front here by 3/4 of a length over Perfect Stormy. 3 wide is Lunar Rover. 4 wide is Casi Guapo. Then it's a break of 2. Back to Sasakaya, who's in 5th. Then Lawmaker and Von Frazen, the half mile in 48 seconds. Street Gent still in front here. Street Gent over Lunar Rover. Perfect Stormy's dropped to the back of the pack. On the outside is Casi Guapo, the half mile in 48 seconds. Now Street Gent tails off. There goes Casi Guapo up now to grab the lead. Sasakaya follows that move. Street Gent is at the rail, and Lunar Rover is back running in 4th. Then Lawmaker and Von Frazen, they're at the top of the stretch. 3/4 and 1:14. Casi Guapo trying to hold off Sasakaya. It's Casi Guapo in front. Casi Guapo, something left here. Casi Guapo opens up in front by 3 lengths. Sasakaya is second. Then farther back, it's Lawmaker and Von Frazen. It will be Casi Guapo, a convincing winner here, won by almost 5 lengths. Sasakaya was second. Then Von Frazen.
Crushing effort. I mean, this was an authoritative win for Casi Guapo. And I'll tell you, Mig, this was a race in which Miss Cadet would have been a heavy favorite. He was the morning line favorite, would have been a chalk, a heavy chalk, had he competed. He scratched, and I think he's lucky he stayed in the barn, because with this effort, I don't know if anybody was beating Casi Guapo today.
Casi Guapo was very good. He looked like a winner leaving the 3/8 pole, and he was. He swept to command under Xavier White Gloves Perez and drew off willingly. I kind of was under the impression this horse might be a better kind of one-run sprinter.
Yeah.
He proved me wrong. He finished powerfully.
He is trained by David Canizzo. You talked about the young jockey colony. Well, he's one of the younger trainers. Worked for Scott Lake, worked for Bruce Levine. Do you like what he has to offer?
Well, I think he's really made a good splash, and he's doing extremely well with all kinds of horses. He has some New York bred clients, which his brother Jeff is the president of the New York Thoroughbred Breeders. So it runs in the family. It's a horse family. So David Canizzo having a good time of it.
Yeah, guy that claims, guy that can develop a state bred. I think of Saw the Freud in an okay effort. Let's talk about some of the also-rans, or one also-ran, Sasakaya, who tried the winner and just was a clear-cut second.
Yeah, made a big run at him. Looked like he had Dead Aim turning for home. A little awkward changing his leads, and then maybe he kind of flattened out a touch. But let's give it up to Casi Guapo, which means beautiful house. He certainly looked like a beautiful horse finishing.
Son of sightseeing. I would imagine stakes on the inner track might be in his future. The horse that is not afraid to take his show on the road. As we get on to race number 2, Sunday card, plenty of sun. Inner track was muddy, by the way. First 5 races, good the final 4, and the inner's muddy and harrowed for race number 2 as Johnny I has the call, this 3-and-up filly and mare claimer.
7 Stars now moves up at the rail. So it's 7 Stars, and Sid is in for 3, and those two are heads apart with Lemon Song running in 3rd. Ocean Boulevard is on the outside of Frosty Bay, and Lady Doris is the trailer in 6th as they move around the clubhouse turn. Sid is in for 3, now opens up a 2-length lead over 7 Stars. Lemon Song on the outside in 3rd by a length and a half. Frosty Bay, Ocean Boulevard right together. Lady Doris at the back. They're on the back stretch now through a 1/4 in 24 and 1/5 seconds in the mud. Sid is in for 3, challenged by 7 Stars, and the two of them right together as they continue along here. Sid is in for 3, now clear by a half length. 7 Stars in 2nd. Lemon Song extreme outside. Frosty Bay is down at the rail with Ocean Boulevard alongside, and Lady Doris in 6th, the half mile in 50 and 4/5 seconds. Sid is in for 3, is holding on to the lead here. A narrow lead at that as they go into the far turn. Now 7 Stars makes a move. Now Lemon Song makes a move. So 7 Stars by a head over Lemon Song. Sid is in for 3, is back running in 3rd. Frosty Bay and Ocean Boulevard asked to pick it up here. 3/4 in 1:17 and 2. And long shot Lemon Song is the leader as the field comes into the stretch. Lemon Song, 7 Stars continues to battle on down at the rail. Lemon Song by a half length. 7 Stars at the rail. Ocean Boulevard is 3rd. It's Lemon Song and 7 Stars. Lemon Song in front as they come for the finish line. Lemon Song and Israel Rodriguez sweeps the double. Lemon Song pulls it off.
second of 3 consecutive wins for Israel Rodriguez. And talk about an apprentice, Mig. It's a short field. It's a cheap kind of claimer. He's riding a big long shot who lately has not been in good form. Talk about sort of the excitement, though, and just the want to do well with the bug rider that brings to the game.
Well, I really think with these kids that they're so enthusiastic and they're so happy to be riding any horse that they go out there figuring out ways they can win. And let's be honest, as you get older, and I'm speaking from experience, you get beat up, you're knocked around, you ride a long shot, you're not thinking about how you can win, you're thinking about how you're going to get around there in good order. These kids put them in the game, and the horse feeds off that positive energy. That's why you see young guys or apprentices win on so many long shots. And one thing I really liked when we watched that isolated replay there, he's riding down into his heels, really tight. A jockey's foundation is his legs. That's where his strength comes from. This kid's doing it the right way.
Native of Puerto Rico, 19 years old, has his bug through the 1st of April. So we are good to go with Israel Rodriguez, bringing home the bombs here thus far in Aqueduct Insider as we take a little time out on the Sunday edition of the show on MSG Plus. We're back on the inner. Muddy races 1 through 5, good races 6 through 9, and stay tuned. Ranger colors on that Empire State Building, the good old red, white, and blue. The Madison Square Garden, or I should say MSG, has been decked out in red, white, and blue, seems, over the last few Ranger games. And as we welcome everybody back to Aqueduct Insider, Rangers play the Penguins tomorrow night at MSG. Which Ranger team do we get?
Well, I sure hope we get the Ranger team that took on the Penguins last time, and I'm sure that MSG will have plenty of extra towels around for Sidney Crosby.
Yapping at the refs, smacking his stick against the boards, just complaining nonstop. But best of luck to the Rangers tomorrow as we get back on to race number 4. John Abrial with the call. It's the 4th race, opening leg of the pick 6, and here we go from the gate.
Number 9, Roxbury and Overton had to steady shortly after the start and trails the field. Charleston Pier is out first. Birchstone's in between horses, and Meisner Park on the outside. So the 3 of them are right together in the early going. They've got 2 lengths on Bensational, who's racing in 4th. Southeast Asia in 5th. Mark My Style down at the rail in 6th. It's Perfect 2 in 7th. On the extreme outside is Humboldt Street in 8th, followed by Tower East and Roxbury and Overton. And the quarter went in 24 seconds. Around the far turn, Charleston Pier and Birchstone, and the 2 of them are stride for the lead. They've got a length and a half on the gray. Bensational in 3rd. Meisner Park on the outside in 4th. And then Southeast Asia into the stretch, the half in 48 and 4/5 seconds. Charleston Pier, here's Meisner Park on the outside, and Bensational is coming on with a furlong to the finish. Bensational and Meisner Park, and now it's between those 2. Meisner Park on the outside, Bensational on the inside. The 2 of them come down to the line together. Bensational, Meisner Park, it's too tight to call. It's a head bob between
Closest finish we've had thus far today with Bensational, who slipped through down inside, white blinkers and the shadow roll, and he's able to outfinish the number 8 Meisner Park.
Yeah, Angel Serpa splitting horses here late for Anthony Cordarolo, who claimed this horse first time out for $30,000. Must have saw something he liked in the mornings. Horse steps up to 50, gets the money in a very game effort. The 8 horse looked like he might get the money. Kind of got there. I thought he might have hung just a touch.
Yeah, and he was a horse hard used throughout Meisner Park, chasing 3 wide, and had the outside post on a day. The inner up until that point had been pretty fair, and I think in my book it was fair all day with no apparent trends or anything like that. And I wonder, and look, it's 20/20 hindsight, and not to play Monday morning quarterback, had Manny Franco just settled a bit more instead of attacking the pace 3 wide, I wonder if Meisner Park wins.
You know, he is a young horse. He's only his 2nd start. Sometimes a horse doesn't give you the feeling that if you put your hands down, they're going to settle the right way, that they're going to back up too much. And I know a lot of times that, you know, it looks like the rider's making too much use of them, but you feel like you kind of keep their attention and keep them going forward. I'm sure with a little racing, I think this horse is going to get better.
Quick turnaround for the winner, though. As you noted, claimed just the other day, 9 days ago, in fact, on November 28th, off John Terranova by Anthony Cordarolo. As we get on to our next race, in fact, it's a highlight package on the show. The stretch runs of races 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 with Johnny I.
And the field is at the top of the stretch, and they're still chasing Hot on Ice, who's got a 4-length lead. Ran the half in 48 and 4/5 seconds. Hot on Ice now in front by 6. Hid Night, Crystal Rocket, They're heads apart, second and third. Home to Carrickeel has dropped out of it. Hot on Ice with the lead as they come down for the wire. Hot on Ice with a front-running score here. Won by 7 lengths. Crystal Rocket was second. Then Celtic down on the inside is Jealous. Why Not Her? The field in the stretch with Started Up still there. Here's Andromeda's Risk now moving up on the outside to challenge. Andromeda's Risk takes the lead from Started Up. Why Not Her advancing into third. Then it's Jealous as they come down for the wire. It is Andromeda's Risk. And the even money favorite gives Israel Rodriguez his 3rd straight victory. 3/4 in 116. The field comes into the stretch. And it is Sweets Galore with the lead. Rock Show's on the outside. Taylor Jagger is back running in third. Heidi's Holiday is fourth. It's Sweets Galore holding off Rock Show here. Sweets Galore in front and clear by 2 as they come down for the wire. Sweets Galore, the winner, at 3-5. Rock Show is second. Heidi's Holiday. Boss Daddy and Read the Mirage. Read the Mirage on the outside to challenge Boss Daddy for the lead. The two of them together as they come down for the 8th pole. On the curve moves into third. Then Allison, Trixie, and Constantine. A 16th out. Boss Daddy at the rail has the lead on the curve now to challenge Boss Daddy. On the curve, Boss Daddy holds. On the curve was second. Read the Mirage third. Brother Ralphie at the rail and Sunstorm to challenge. Sunstorm and Brother Ralphie. And Sunstorm has taken the lead. Brother Ralphie is back running in second. Then Pegasus Red and Blue Chips Only. Sunstorm is clear by almost 3 lengths. Here's a late run from Blue Chips Only, but it's going to be Sunstorm. Had some problems right after the start, but no problems in the stretch. 1 and 49 and 4, 3/4 and 15 and 2, and it is Social Sol in front by 3 lengths. Lou Bango trying to hold on a second. Star of New York and Silver Day. No doubt about the winner here. Social Sol turns it into a rout at the end. Social Sol won by 10 lengths, and it was close for second between Lou Bango.
We're always looking for a good stallion to breed to on this show. There was some talk of a top stallion on the National Racing Report with Winning Image, who was second in the Garland of Roses, and her potential date to Malibu Moon in the breeding season of 2015. What about the New York bred sires, though? Frost Giant doing some great things. It's time for the Sunday Frost Giant New York bred standout. We do not have to go back very far. How about the razor-sharp veteran Social Sol? What a beast here in race number 9.
He is a beast. His last 6 starts, 5 wins in a second. 6 for 13 on the year, and he does nothing but show up and do his job. He brings his lunch pail and goes to work at the age of 6 in fine form.
And despite the fact he's won 5 of his last 6, he's in for 10, 12-5, 12-5, 16, back down to 10 today. Nobody has jumped in and claimed him off David Jacobson. He is just a horse who brings 110% throughout, much like Frost Giant's progeny. And to inquire about breeding the Frost Giant in 2015, contact Eric Bishop. Eric at sunrisestallions.com, and the phone number is up there. Frost Giant, the son of Giants Causeway, standing up at Keen Stud. And I do wonder, because I got the claims through race number 8 today, and as we throw to the claims here on day 5 on the inner, I wonder if anybody finally jumped in and took Social Sol out of the last for 10K.
Yeah, well, you know what? I like that they run him where he can. It's easy on him. He wins for 10. He wins for 12-5. He's not having to go deep to the well, and that's why horses can stick around. Let a horse run where they can make it easy.
And he'll be going out for David Jacobson once again, probably next weekend for 10 or 12-5 or 16,000. And what a start to this card. Toys for Tots. We had the United States Marine Corps in hand the last couple days. Blessed to have the brave men and women on track, and just starting the programs at Aqueduct after the national anthem with that color guard and the rifles gives you chills. We'll take a little time out. We'll recap the week when we come back on Aqueduct Insider. Back at the Big A, we were touring the country from Aqueduct earlier today along with Andy Serling on the National Racing Report. That is a broadcast that will air Monday and Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here on MSG Plus, and we really made stops all over the country.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground all up and down the eastern seaboard, out to the west coast, a couple stops in between. It was a pretty good show, a lot of action.
And opening weekend at Gulfstream Park, the Claiming Crown. Good to see the Claimers get their day in the sun, and check out the racing report at 6 p.m. as we backtrack and check out this 5-day opening week on the inner track from top to bottom. We get to the top performers first. Wet track here. What a difference a day made, by the way. But Expression, 76 buyer in the slop, taking the Garland of Roses.
Yeah, got a hot pace to run into, catches winning image right in the shadow of the wire. And you think about the track yesterday and the track today. Credit to Glenn Kozak and his crew to get it this dry and in this good a shape.
And you see how quickly it dries and does drain with that limestone base. And she was terrific. One of 2 winners in Saturday's late pick 4 for trader Charlton Baker, combining with jockey Manny Franco and a former $35,000 maiden claimer Expression, who's banked $350K. How about the longevity from Awesome Vision? Back on his best. Here he comes, 3 wide in the black cap.
Yeah, I was really impressed with this effort. He got into the game a little sooner than usual. He was on those horses by the quarter pole. I thought he might hang a little bit because of it. Instead, he powered away. This was a really strong performance, and you got to think he's going to be tough in a lot of these winter races going forward.
Loves 2 turns, loves the inner track. America, Wednesday's 3rd. First, perhaps, odds-on favorite winning on this newly begun inner track meet, Yellow Cap. Do you think it took her a while to get into gear?
It really did. And going back, I went and watched some of her races previously this past summer. Even at Belmont, she never seems to run the turns very well. Kind of loses a little ground in turns and then comes again. She did it again this time, and she was able to kick it into gear late and get the money. Bobby Flay bred, Billy Mott trained, bred and owned Bobby Flay.
Yeah.
Must be even more satisfying to not just own a horse like that, but to breed them as well.
And to take a mare to a top stallion like AP Indy. And although she's no world beater and she has yet to win a graded stake, I think the best is yet to come with America, who's just starting to hit her stride late in her 3-year-old season. And speaking of hitting strides, Manny Franco has not missed a beat. And this was, look, a week on the inner of highs and lows with young jockey Manny Franco. 8 wins through the first 4 cards. He was also involved in that spill here on Thursday.
Yeah, an unfortunate circumstance where he did get a 15-day suspension, which he is appealing. I thought it might have been a little stiff. I thought a week might have been more in line. But, boy, he had a terrific week. And you can just see his confidence, how he's blossoming. And it's fun to watch a young rider hit that stride. Another kid, all of these kids, they look so good finishing. They look like they've been doing it for 15 years or more. And if you think about it, how young they are, there's a lot of good days ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks so good on a horse, lefty, righty, and you talk about that leg strength and the foundation. He has got it all, and he has got the physique of a jockey. If the good Lord was going to make a perfect riding physique, he'd have Manny Franco, who's got the 8 wins. Cornelia Velasquez, a speedy recovery to him, but a lot of racing left to come on this winterized oval.
Yeah, this isn't a sprint, that's for sure. But, boy, I think if you average the ages of all the jockeys in the room, we'd be looking at about 24 years old.
No kidding. Now, speaking of jockeys, a former jockey turned trainer, and Tom Albatrani is the week's hot conditioner. 3 for 8. And a couple of nice maiden wins for Tom Albatrani.
Yeah, and actually, you talk about him being a rider. I actually rode against Tommy Albatrani back in the day.
Does a lot of things well. He's done a great job with Awesome Vision. He's got 3 wins. David Jacobson with 3 as well as Gulfstream Park, their opening week. Opening Sunday card. Biggest name perhaps running all weekend long, a horse by the name of Atreides, who we are going to include in our top performer.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a horse that generated so much excitement in the spring, and then he had one bad race in Indiana, and here he is returning today in the Aventura.
Prep for the House Hope. We'll see if he can step up his game. I mean, this is a horse who dazzled 3 consecutive winning efforts and 3 consecutive triple-digit buyers to begin his career. What do you think? And I know we watched the race live while taping the show. Getting a glimpse at it, though, what did you think of the win here with the Treaties?
I thought it was a good, solid performance, but I thought it was more workmanlike than dazzling like it was in the spring. Certainly nothing to knock, but he didn't wow me.
Well, we always get wowed by Maggie Wolfendale and Andy Serling. Andy will spend Wednesday on the sidelines. We'll have him back with us Thursday, but Maggie will be in action. She has scoured the 9-race card that kicks off at 12:20, and here's who to look for.
Thanks, guys. Well, it's time for another edition of Aqueduct Insider. For Wednesday's card, we'll wait until the last race, and it is a maiden claiming 40 for the two-year-old New York-bred boys, going the mile and 70. And breaking from the inside in the number 1 post position is is where you always want to be going the 2 turns around this inner course at the Big A is Black Friday Rush for trainer Joe Orsino. He does take the drop in class to the maiden claiming ranks here today and goes turf to dirt. Now, he did run on the dirt first time out, but I'm always willing to give a horse a second try on a surface that was his debut. So really, he has much more of a dirt pedigree as well, especially on his dam side. He is a half to Moonlit Malibu, a stakes winning sprinting mare. So I like the fact that he gets back on the main track, and 2 stretching out I think should be no problem for Black Friday Rush. Who is your Paddock Insider for today? Guys, back to you.
Style, substance, and she braves the elements out there. A sunny day, a clear day here in South Ozone Park, Queens, but talk about windswept Aqueduct. And keep in mind, Maggie is down below the main track and the inner track, standing in the paddock, and you could see how windy it was. What's it like for a jockey riding at Aqueduct at this time of the year when the wind is just howling?
Well, when you get up, you leave the paddock, and when you're in the paddock, you're like, well, it's not so bad. Then you get up there, and the wind really hits you, and it comes off Jamaica Bay pretty hard. And a rider and people wagering have to pay attention which direction the wind's coming from. If it's at your back down the back stretch, you don't have to worry so much about getting cover, and it's okay for speed. If it's coming into your face down the backstretch, you've got to hide behind other horses. Let them break the wind for you. Basically draft like you would in an auto race.
Sure.
And then I don't think speed does as well. Sometimes you get a crosswind, and then a rider has to be very careful about how much spacing he has between him and other horses, because it will move a 1,000-pound animal from here to there. I know anybody driving a car gets hit with a big gust of wind. You know how it moves your car. It'll move a horse even more drastically.
All things to consider and pay attention to as this winter meet progresses. And regarding track trends, watched all 5 races, or I should say 5 consecutive cards here on the inner. I think this inner track has played no favorites.
No, I think that it was very unbiased today. And again, I'll go back to it. Glenn Kozak and his crew do a great job under some trying circumstances. We had a lot of water. And the one thing about it, when it gets cold, the inner track gets better. We have problems with the inner track when it thaws out and it gets warm.
All right, we say goodnight on the show. Glad you've joined us on MSG Plus, and we hope you enjoyed this 30-minute segment on the channel. We can't thank the brave men and women serving our country enough. Great to have the United States Marine Corps on hand over the last couple of days. Give them a shout, toysfortots.com, and we are dark the next couple of days. Back at it this coming Wednesday with the first race post at 12:20.